Well, good morning. My name's the Reverend Luke Wickings, and I'm the rector of the Avon Valley churches across Fordingbridge and many of the villages and communities around us. And I wanted to talk to you today about how we can make a difference in this world. Might sound a big thing to talk about, but we certainly live in a world in which there is a need for us to be people who make a difference. As I was thinking about this, I was reminded of one of the verses in the Bible that has always been a bit of a challenge to me. It's Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, where Jesus says to his disciples, and of course to us, "You are the light of the world." Just reflect upon that for a moment. Whoever you are watching this, you are the light of the world. God put you into this world to bring light and not darkness into this world. Now, of course, we're very well aware that there's a lot of darkness in the world, sadly. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2 says this: "Darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over all the peoples." And sadly, we see that all too rarely, don't we? As we look at the world, as we reflect upon what's happening in our world, we have wildfires in France, we have bizarre temperatures here. Clearly there is climate issues, climate changes that we are aware of. There's also political turmoil, political leaders, sadly, some of whom don't inspire hope, but rather inspire fear. We see injustice, warfare, suffering, sickness, poverty in our world. Isn't it crazy that there are so many people in this world who are hungry, so many people who are living in the light of warfare? And of course, we also see people who are far from God. And so Isaiah was right when he said darkness covers the earth, and there is a real need for light. Now, of course, we know as Christians that Jesus is primarily the one who came to bring light. In fact, John said when he was speaking about the coming of Jesus Christ, he said, "The light shines in the darkness." That's John 1, verse 5. But it's not just about Jesus. That's my point, really. Again, that verse, Matthew 5, verse 14, Jesus said to the disciples, and through them to us, "You are the light of the world." Jesus sends us out in the world and calls us to shine light, to make this world a better place. To make this world a better place, not just for us, but for others. And I thought I'd share with you today 4 things that I think we can do as we reflect on what it means to be the light of the world and how we can work to make the world a better place. The first thing is always to have in mind that we are commanded to love our neighbour. As I'm sure you know, Jesus said there are 2 great commandments: love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second one is to love your neighbour as yourself. So let's try and love our neighbours. Let's be loving in the way we act towards people. Let's be loving towards people of all races, creeds, and colours. Let's love our neighbour with the way we act towards them, but also in things like our shopping, buying fair trade, not buying things that exploit others or that bring damage to this beautiful world that God has given us. Let's be loving towards our neighbour. Let's be loving towards our neighbour by doing what we can to help our neighbours. In fact, even as I record this video right now, in the rectory garden right behind me, there is a picnic for local families run by the Avon Valley Community Matters charity, which is linked to our churches, as I'm sure you know. And they have this Superstars group who help local families, and they're having a picnic in our garden today. What a wonderful thing. And there's a whole group of volunteers out there who act and work to make a difference to local families. So there's things we can do to love our neighbour. We can volunteer in various ways to make this world a better place. One of the things I do is I'm the chair of trustees, both of the Avon Valley Community Matters charity, but also of Umoja Boys, a charity rescuing street children in Kenya. But there are things that we can all do to help to make this world a better place. So the first thing we should do as we seek to bring light into the darkness is to love our neighbour and to think of ways that we can do that. The second thing, and this is going to sound a bit odd, but it's the second thing I'd say is do what you can. You see, we might look at, for example, the climate crisis and the changes in our weather and think, well, what can I do? Well, don't panic about it. But the point is this: do what you can. Do what you can to look after this planet. Do what you can to love your neighbour. Do what you can to bring justice instead of injustice in this world. Instead of looking at these problems and thinking they're too big, there's nothing I can do, I think the call on all of us is to do what we can. There are things that we can do. If I was to take you into my toilet right now, this is going to sound strange, but there's a little picture in there because we have twinned our toilet with one in Bangladesh. In other words, by giving, we have supported the provision of a toilet in Bangladesh, whilst acknowledging that we are lucky enough to have such good facilities here in the UK. Again, it only cost about £60 from what I remember. Do what you can. There are things that we can do to make this world a better place and a fairer place. So love your neighbour firstly. Secondly, do what you can. Then the third thing I'd say to you as we seek to be a light in the world is to put your trust in God. You see, as I've said, when we look at the massive problems of our world, war going on in Iran, war in Gaza, the oppression of Christians across North Africa, poverty around the world, we can despair, can't we? But we should not despair because we know that God is real and that He is at work making a difference. So instead of fearing, put your trust in God. Instead of putting your trust in political leaders and political movements, put your trust in God. The truth is, He is the one who is in charge of this world, and one day, at the time that He deems right, He will put everything right and will create a new heaven and a new earth and take us to be with Him. Put your trust in Him. Do not fear. God is at work. God is great. He is making a difference in this world today, and of course He can use us to make a difference. Put your trust in God and trust Him that He will make a difference and that through us He will work. So do what you can. Love your neighbour. Trust in God. Then the last thing that we must do as we seek to bring light where there is darkness is to point people to Jesus Christ. As I said at the beginning of this short talk, in John chapter 1 verse 5, John said about Jesus Christ, the light shines in the darkness. The only real hope that there is in the world is Jesus, the one who came to bring light, to bring God's love, to bring His salvation, and to help us to enter into the kingdom of God where we can live forever. So I do pray for each of us that God will help us to be what He has called us to be, the light of the world. May we love our neighbour. May we do what we can. May we trust in God and point people to Jesus Christ. And as we all do that, then the light will indeed shine in the darkness. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Goodbye.